gentlemen, welcome back to another Word with Brenden. We're here to talk about some really cool Martins today, the Modern Deluxe series, which has got some really unique offerings. It kind of gives you some stuff that you can really only get in this series, and it's where tradition meets modern. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's very accurate.
We've got a couple examples here. I've got the D18 Modern Deluxe, and Brenden has the D28, and give us the goods.
Give us the lowdown. So we're in Michigan, and close to Detroit. We'll make some car references.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So a lot of what we're going to talk about it's under the hood. So if you already saw the video on the standard series and you were looking at the D18 and D28, you might be looking at these saying, I don't know what they're talking about. They look exactly the same. But again, what's going on is all the secret stuff under the hood. So we're going to share some of that with you, starting with the fact that these both have torrefied tops. And torrefaction is a way to age wood in a very, very specific manner. There are a lot of people doing torrefaction. We have a very specific process that we developed with our vendor, and each of these tops is aged to about 80 years. That's the mark we wanted to hit.
So I never knew that. That's really cool to know. And as most of you probably know, watching this segment, tops on these guitars are book matched. So it's one piece that's kind of butterflied and split, and the grain here on these guitars is like a over time, the sap that's in these channels, it kind of it crystallizes and disintegrates, and it makes these little sound channels, and that's what this process is doing right out of the gate. So you don't have to wait for that awesome sound when your guitar ages. You get it right off the wall at Huber Breeze with a Modern Deluxe. Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty big thing right there.
Yeah. And great store to come to Huber Breeze, check out a D28, and then check out a D28 Modern Deluxe, so you can really hear the differences. But your top is torrefied, that's a big one, and the reason for that was to make it sound like an older guitar. Another really key element to those old guitars from the 30s and 40s is hide glue, right?
Yeah.
So the Modern Deluxe does not have hide glue, but the hide glue process is very, very expensive. We'll get into that in the Authentic series and Customs. But there is a protein glue used here that is different than what is on a typical D28 and 18.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
See?
Even I'm learning stuff today.
He's the Martin geek, and he's learning something.
An educational experience.
So that's helping with some of that tone as well. So you combine the protein glue with the torrefied top, and you have something special right there. In addition, there's a couple of things going on around the bridge area. One of them is underneath there's a graphite bridge plate. So that is very different. It's a very rigid, hard material. It's not going to move around on you.
Which would normally be a hardwood, right?
Would be a hardwood,
right,
a maple, or in tradition they were even Brazilian rosewood and ebony at times. Yeah. So that combined with the bridge pins, which are special, and you can purchase these bridge pins through Huber Breeze.
We have them for sale. Yeah.
Number of different styles, but I'm looking at the ivory colored ones. These are the emery color on the 18, and there's something called liquid metal. So the benefit, what does it do for the player? The benefit to using the liquid metal is that it's a poured material with no voids in it. So it's essentially a perfect material. And when we talk about transferring energy, you play a chord, okay? Robbie's putting energy into the guitar, we want that energy to come back out. And depending on how much energy he puts in, that's going to be different. These pins, because they're pure, there's no voids or fissures or anything in the material, they transfer that energy a little bit better. And what that results in is a slightly louder guitar, but enough to be audible. It's about 3 to 4 decibels louder than a regular guitar.
That's very cool, and we do have some sets of these bridge pins that you can pick up here. We have them in the front counter. So if you're interested in trying one of these on your favorite Martin at home, we've got them.
They're easy to sneak in the house too.
Yeah.
So if you can't get that Modern Deluxe in the house for whatever reason, just saying, get the pins. They fit right in your pocket.
You can still get a little bit of that deluxe treatment.
A little bit of that.
What about the frets?
Yeah, so these are gold Evo frets. They look really sharp. It's one of those things that you might not catch immediately on the wall, but it's a different material. You think gold, there's an element of gold in there, and they're gold color, but they're not soft like you might think gold is. These are very rigid frets, really good for tone and also just the presentation. And along with presentation, we have on the D28, we have maple binding and a nice Modern Deluxe pearl inlay on the headstock.
And a gloss headstock at that. Right. Yeah. The D18 has rosewood bindings. And I believe these are these inlays wood fiber too?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so a wood fiber inlay all around. And the last bit that we should mention is these are the real deal Waverly tuners on these guys, which is that's about the best you could hope to get, I think, on any acoustic guitar. It's just one guitar sales guy's opinion, but you get them on a Modern Deluxe. So we do have a couple models in stock, and of course we've got some more that are expected to land soon. So if you're looking for that triple O or that double O, we're going to have them for you. But come into the shop and strum one of these guys, and like Brenden was suggesting, maybe take the D18 and play it next to a standard D18, or do so with the D28 and see which one speaks to you. These are a lot of features on this guitar that you really, aside from this series, you can't get unless you were maybe to order something from the custom shop. And these are better than, a little friendlier than some of the custom shop prices for what you're getting. Something that Martin puts together and offers that's a great package for the money for you, the consumer. And these are great guitars. We're proud to have them.
Yeah. One more detail. Doesn't
One
end
more
at the
detail.
tuners. So there's another really special feature. This isn't under the hood. It's kind of the tires maybe. But this neck is a lot different than a traditional Martin neck. Well, traditional would be a full thickness neck. The standard series has the new PA taper necks on them. This neck has a particular design that you're not going to be able to see on camera, but this is one of the reasons to try these guitars, because it's really subtle. But if you didn't know it was there, you might sense that something was going on. But what's going on is the center of the neck is helical. So the center point of the neck changes as you come up the guitar. And that's designed to follow the pattern that your hand is using. If you're, if you're doing these chords, that's fine. But if you're using this technique, and especially in single notes and some chording, the neck can kind of guide your hand to where it needs to be. It follows what your hand wants to do. Ergonomically, yes. It's a little bit thinner neck, but also a different design.
And what about the truss rod in these?
Oh, the truss rod is different too.
The truss rod is different too,
It's
right?
the same truss rod as the SC models.
Yeah.
So it takes a 4mm wrench. That's part of how we can get this neck design where it is. We had to go with a smaller truss rod. So if you already have an 18, you come in and grab a D28 Modern Deluxe. Don't try to use the same truss rod wrench because it's different.
It's not going to fit.
Not gonna fit.
But we have wrenches here, so rest easy. We'll get you the right wrench for your neck. I want to thank Brenden again for sharing a word of wisdom about awesome Martin goodness here at Hubert Breeze Music.